Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's Ellen, and we're painting the cliffs of Gayhead, Martha's Vineyard, using masking fluid for all this fun stuff, atmospheric, splattering it. We're just kind of painting in the grass. If you're a Patreon member, you can download the actual photograph here. If you're not a Patreon member, you can check it out right here. Boop. I have ad-free videos, traceables, downloads, and exclusive tutorials on Thursdays. Weekly, which is a lot because most people, I think, on Patreon only do 2, but I do 4 a month, so that's a lot that are not on YouTube. I do show you how to draw this and paint this in, so if you're not on Patreon, it's no big deal, but it's just a place people can go and support my channel, which I appreciate so much. Also, please don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorials up, because sometimes they're not always on time. And again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. So let's get painting. So to get started, I'll just go over some supplies that I have. I have a piece of Arches 100% cotton cold pressed paper. It's like an 8x10 here. I just taped down with my Scotch magic tape. This is the tape I use. On a piece of cardboard that I had, just leftover cardboard. I have my paper towels, my paints. I'm using a reference photo that I took in Gayhead and Martha's Vineyard a long time ago, probably like 7 years ago. Because I just like the whole feel of the Queen Anne's lace and the I don't know what you'd call it, all these like little ferns and things sticking up here and grasses, and we're going to use the masking fluid for that. And it's basically simple shapes, you know. So Patreon members, you can download my photograph, but I'm going to show people how you can just interpret this any way you want. You know, basically you're going to be taking a ruler just to go across if you want up here, you know, like 1/4 of the way down, just go across your paper, draw your horizon line like that, right, as you see in the photograph. Then from here, I just have this little, there's the cliffs, just going to roughly sketch those. See, here's the cliff, and then you'll see some water here. Let me see if you can see. So they're going to do this little cliff. So you're not going to see much water. It's just basically like this. You know, and you don't have to get all bogged down to the details. I'm not necessarily going to be painting all the details. So something like that. You know, you get that little cliff. Just kind of sketching in. You see that? And then we have the ocean here and the sky. And all this goody stuff in here is where, so basically, 3/4 the way down, draw a straight line across. Then you do these little cliffs, and it can come down and come up and over, and up and down over in here. There's some greenery over here. I mean, I'm not going to worry about the details of that. But basically, you have the cliffs and the ocean and all this little grass. So then we're going to take this fun stuff, which is the masking fluid. Grab a kind of a crappy brush that you have, kind of on the skinny small side, and you can do a couple of things. We're going to do some splattering with it. You know, just like that. I want a couple things going on here. Okay, and then you're going to go in and you're going to take the actual brush. You're just going to paint in some of these grasses. So you're just going to wisp up, whoop. You know, like the wheat grasses. This brush is picking up some crap. There's some tall ones here, back here. So it's just a line up, just like so, and then the little lines are like feathering out from the top, just like that, as you can see in the photograph. Like I said, you don't have to follow this completely. just doing some grasses. It's random. Just going like this and that, and you just do. You go and see. Take the PBO. Get some skinny ones in here. I'm going to do a cluster in some areas. You can just find like beach grasses, wheat grasses. This was taken in summer though. It looks like it's kind of fall kind of colors. And then for the Queen Anne's lace, you can just tap in like splotches like that. See? Little dash. That's why it's good to have the splattering effect. I'm just going to go around like this. And listen, if you want to put in some daisies and whatnot too, you can do that. So I'm just going to just take this brush, kind of go up and go random. You want some skinny ones and some not so skinny ones. Just like this. I'm going to have fun with this. Come all the way up over here. Just like that. I'm just going to make the grasses go back and forth. Do all the little wheat marks. Till you feel satisfied. If you go overboard, that's fine because you can always paint over it. The opposite is true. Like if you missed out on doing this in the beginning, then you'd have to go back in, and you can't really do that because it's not white. You can be painting green. So see, I'm just making this really simple marks. Back and forth. Put some Queen Anne's lace up here. You can put in some daisies. You know, it doesn't have to be this perfect little realistic looking painting. I'm kind of making it more abstract anyway. That's why the splattering helps. Just adds another dimension. I might add a little more splatter actually. I kind of like the randomness of it. Oh, splattered up here, but that's okay. All right, so you're gonna do that, and then we're gonna come back after that dries, and we're gonna start painting. All right, so we're gonna start off painting the sky. You know, my photograph has just this blue color. You can make it any color. You can add some clouds. I'm just gonna grab this big old 1-inch craft brush. Just a simple brush. I have ultramarine here. Pretty blue. I have some Verdier blue, mix the two of them together. You know, you don't have to use the same kind of blue. And I'm going to do wet on dry. See, I'm just going to go right across there. I'm going to pick up some more water and go right across there. 3/4 of the way down. Like I said, you can make it any color you want. Don't worry about the blue that I have. You can make it even darker. But since the sun's really shining on this particular ocean scene that I have, you might not want to make it too dark. Gonna grab some of this phthalo blue. Ooh, that's pretty intense. Get back some more ultramarine. Just go across. I might just keep it the way the kind of the photograph looks, just for teaching's sake, but you could go in and take out some clouds. And you see here on the horizon, it's pretty light, so I'm going to lift up some of this paint. In this bottom area. Just by swiping my brush and then tapping on the paper towel. And I can go back in, take some ultramarine blue, and add that on top. A little bit darker. Like that. And you can actually have it bleed down. Excuse me, if you lift your paper up and tilt it, you can do that. The bleeds in the side just kind of lift up with your paintbrush. And that's pretty much how I'm going to keep that color. And I would let that dry before I start painting the ocean. After this part over here needs some paint. Before I start painting in my ocean because they're too close together. See, now that doesn't even look like it's filled in. Well, again, I can take my brush, tap it on the paper towel, go back in and lift up some of that paint because I wanted it lighter down there. Just a little bit lighter. Okay, so then for the rest, we're going to start painting the greens over here. You know, just basically tans and beiges and browns and a little bit of grays in here and some greens, all yellows over in here. But don't worry about how the color has to, you know, it doesn't have to be super realistic. We're just going to have fun. So I'm grabbing this Princeton 12 Neptune brush because it's got a big belly and a lot of water on it. I'm just going to put some water down here, and I'm taking the cadmium yellow deep. Get a good amount of that. You want to mix a good amount of paint for this. And I'm going to grab my peacock blue because it makes a nice green. You see that? And here we're going to be doing a lot of greens. And I have a Prussian blue over here that makes it darker green. So you want to be a combination of pale greens, light greens, darker greens. Grab my yellow again. They're all kind of in that one space for me, but for you guys, you can have it in different, like, you know, spaces. I kind of just have to show it, so I'm making it simpler for you. So I'm just kind of washing in some of the greens, you see. Pay no attention to my doodle barking. You see, just kind of flopping in. Ugh, he's been really barky lately. And then up here on the top part of the cliff, there's a little bit of green. And over here, we're just putting in a light green first. And then we'll start pushing in some darker green. Okay, so that we dried everything. We've got this rubber cement pickup. It's going to remove all the masking fluid and see what we got. Now, of course, it's going to be white. We're going to go back over it with some light beige tones, except for the lovely. Well, we'll add some colors to the Queen Anne's lace because that's just too white. So it was fun that we splattered some of that, right? There's a nice look to it. Sorry for the noise. Just removing it. Already it looks kind of fun. Just go ahead and remove all this masking fluid. It makes a lot of noise. Look at that. Pretty cool, right? All right, so then you can still use a big brush. I have that yellow ochre mixed with some burnt umber. Gonna remove some of this green here. I have some Paynes gray over here on the right. You can't really see that in the thing. I'm gonna mix that in with the yellow ochre. Get a pretty beige color. Fairly wet. I'll tap in paper towel. If I want a little bit brighter, I'll add more yellow. And you can go back in and you can, water this down more. And you can go in. I still want to keep it light. I'm just going to kind of go over those little areas of the grass. The beige color. See, just that light beige tone. Leave some of it white. Like you see, I'm not hitting the whole entire thing because you want that light to be hitting it. Going in and adding all that pretty color. I'm still keeping some of it like kind of white-ish. Darn dog is just barking away today. So shut up. You're interfering. See that? And you can go and make it a little more tonal. You can go and add some Brady. Some browns in there. Some grays. Don't be afraid. you know, I know you took off the masking fluid and it's white, and you're like, oh, well, why I'm ruining the white, but don't, sometimes you just kind of have to do that. You have to add some tonality to it, otherwise it looks fake. So I'm adding some gray, a little more darker burnt umber in some areas. Again, it's good to stand up and see, oops, where you want. I'll move my camera. I'm adding a little more gray, but not too much. I'm just going to play around a little bit. See how I'm just moving my brush like this randomly? So still kind of keep some of those areas white. I like that look. I think it looks just like the Queen Anne's lace. You can go really get detailed and grab like a Princeton 8 and go in and whoops, grab some light green, brown, beige colors. And just kind of go in on the edge of it, inside of it a little bit, so it looks like the Queen Anne's lace. But those are just minor details. We really got what we achieved with that atmospheric kind of look with using the masking fluid. See, I'm just going to go in and grab some of this just underneath it and around it a little bit inside the center of the Queen Anne's lace. And then from here you just tweak like the ocean, so I might grab some more of this ultramarine mixed with the Prussian blue. You say I'm using the Princeton 8 long round, just put in some little marks. See, horizontal lines to indicate the ocean. You don't have to go too crazy with that. You see, I'm just sporadically putting some here and there. And if you feel like, you know what, the edge of the ocean part is just like there's not enough white, you can grab some white gouache and go in and, like I have some white gouache here, and I'll just put a little here so I can show you. Gonna have my Princeton 8 brush, tap it on my paper towel, and you can kind of put the edge, like, you know, like it's crashing waves part here. And then if you miss some like white out here, you can just add it. See that? Same thing with the like the ferns and stuff here. You can always go and add some gouache. See, I'm just kind of tapping it in like that. In areas that I didn't do it with the masking fluid, so you can just go in and just kind of throw it in yourself with the gouache. See how I'm just kind of playing around, just tapping it in, da, 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 having fun. Well, that's it. And you know, you can add a little white gouache kind of going down, like dry brush here. Like the cliffs are a little sunny right there. Playing around with that, see? So I held it on its side, kind of just push down like this, the dry brush effect, so you can see like the sun is shining in that area. Voila! So I shall remove my tape. Look at that. And we have finished the cliffs of Gayhead in Martha's Vineyard. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you're a Patreon member, you can just like download the photograph, but pretty much I showed you guys how to do this. It's pretty easy. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Also, don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorial is up. Thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel. Take care, and I will speak to you soon.